Welcome. I'm Chris Chelwell, the Australian Government's iron ore supplier advocate. As someone with many decades of experience in both mining and supplier roles, it's my job to help industry and suppliers innovate and connect to create better business opportunities for everyone. In this series of videos, we'll gain insights from mining industry leaders to understand the importance of supplier capabilities, competitiveness, price, relationships, and other opportunities that can help innovative businesses grow. Today we'll meet with Fortescue to gain an insight into their approach to supplier procurement and to find out how you can access some of these wonderful opportunities.
We're a great Australian success story, we're proud to say, that's grown from an idea around the kitchen table 10 years ago to producing our first iron ore out of the Pilbara just 5 years ago, and to now be the world's 4th largest seaborne supplier of iron ore. It's been an incredibly fast ramp up of production capacity, the fastest ever in Australia's history, and we couldn't have done that without the fantastic relationships that we've built with our suppliers.
Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Chris.
Can you tell us, what are the main things you look for in choosing a supplier?
Yeah, absolutely. Fortescue relies very strongly on its suppliers to help us deliver our commitments to our key stakeholders, be that our shareholders, be it our customers, be it the community. The reality of what we do is that 80% of the cost of taking a tonne of iron ore out of the ground goes to our supply base. So we rely very, very heavily on our supply base to actually be able to meet the commitments that we make to our stakeholders. So when picking suppliers to work for us, we've got to look very, very closely at how they can work with us and how they fit. So we look at skills and experience. We look at price is one element of it, but we look at their approach to innovation and how they can help us keep those costs and reduce those costs down.
What are the various pathways that small to medium enterprises can take in gaining and accessing the Fortescue Metals supply chain?
Yeah. Just to put it into perspective from a small medium enterprise perspective, in the last financial year Fortescue spent about $10 billion with their supply base, and that was across about 2,300 suppliers. But the reality of that is 90% of that spend was with less than 200 suppliers. Right? That leaves about $1 billion or 10% across the other 2,000 odd suppliers. Right? So that, first of all, put that into perspective and let you see where that is. The other side of that, 95% of that spend though was spent on Australian companies. And companies that have either got multinationals with a major base in Australia, or most of those companies actually based in Australia. Right? So there's two pathways into working with Fortescue. One is working directly with us, and there's a 10% chance that you can get in there. And one is working with our major contractors. Most of our mines, 2 of our 3 mines are major contractor-led mines. Most of our camps are all major contractor-led camps. And there's a lot of subcontracting goes in with those major contracts. And what I would encourage companies to do is, if you want to do work with Fortescue and you want to come with innovative ideas and how you can help us improve our business, the category manager is the first port of call. Right, and you can do that accessing through our FMG website. There's a procurement web email address that you can use to get there. Now, what the category manager will sit down with you is work out what is it you offer, and they'll bring to that meeting or that discussion the various experts within our business who would be procuring your services and utilising your services, or they would refer you to the right person within our major contractors.
Kevin, Fortescue has a very strong set of values. How does it affect your supply chain and the way you go about buying?
There are 4 key elements that we use when we're evaluating tenders. One is price, one is a fit to our culture and our values, one is the competence and capability, and one is about understanding our business needs. If you weight those, that fit to our culture probably carries as much weight, if not more than anything. Built into that culture is the stuff I mentioned earlier around family. Family is the most critical thing in our values, right? We see family as encompassing everything from safety to working together to teamwork and all those things, right? So that becomes one of the most critical things when we're evaluating tenders. If a supplier in any way whatsoever does not meet our very, very stringent safety requirements, they will not work with us. Right? This is a dangerous industry that we operate in, and we need to make sure that our suppliers are safe and that everybody finishes their shift and goes home safely every single night of the year.
Kevin, can you tell us how you engage with your Indigenous supplier base?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Fortescue's got a very, very strong commitment to the Aboriginal community, and we undertake to adopt a really proactive policy and approach in working with Aboriginal businesses and Aboriginal companies in connection with our operations. As part of our process in procurement, for example, we ask our suppliers to submit whether or not they've got an Aboriginal engagement strategy, and if they have, we'll take that into account when evaluating our tenders. Over the last 18 months, for example, we've awarded over $1 billion of contracts to Aboriginal companies, either directly with those companies or through joint ventures with more established companies who help the Aboriginal companies actually grow and develop themselves. So that's something that Fortescue is very, very proud of, and something that when we talked about the unique culture of Fortescue earlier, absolutely fits in with that, because we see our traditional owners and the Aboriginal community as an extension of the Fortescue family and a big part of the Fortescue family.
Could you just open up a little bit more about bringing something to the party or innovation? What does Fortescue Metals see as innovation? We
are heading towards 155 million tonnes. We've spent several $billion to get us there, right? Once we get to that 155 million tonnes, we've got to look at what is the next step. And can we get 185 million tonnes out of the infrastructure we've built for 155 million tonnes? So we're looking for suppliers to come and find ways that we can do that. We're looking for our own people to find ways that we can do that. So as an example, Fortescue is probably one of, if not the biggest procurer of diesel in Australia. Right? I think something like 5% of imported diesel in Australia is used by Fortescue Metals Group. Right? So we are working with our diesel suppliers and with our equipment suppliers to find ways that we can reduce our diesel consumption.
Can you give us some other examples of some innovative solutions provided by suppliers that may not have got work otherwise?
Let me give you an example of an initiative that we ran. Fortescue at the end of last year ran an initiative called Have a Crack. Right? And Have a Crack invited anybody in the Fortescue family, whether you're a supplier or whether you're a member of the team, to put forward ideas where they believed that we could do our work more efficiently, where we could save money, where we could save time, where we could improve processes. We got several thousand ideas from suppliers, from team members, from people across the board, and we evaluated all of those. We awarded several $100,000 in prizes to people, and we're now implementing a significant amount of those ideas and generating significant savings for some very, very simple things.
If I'm a supplier, Kevin, I'm going to be sending you an email with Have a Crack on it, straight through to your category managers. Because I think that would be a really good way. Would that be welcome?
Absolutely. I mean, on our website, if you go into community and there's a suppliers link on our website, there is a discrete procurement email address. If you want to come up with ideas, even if you want to come and talk to us and tell us about your business, you send that on. My team look at that. My team arrange to talk to someone by phone or by meeting or whatever, and then we'll work and see if there's something that we can do together.
Sounds like you're really open for business, Kevin.
We are absolutely open for business.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Fortescue are certainly a great example of a large, homegrown Australian iron ore company looking to work with innovative suppliers to deliver a better outcome for everyone. And hopefully you've gained an understanding of how your businesses can get involved in these wonderful opportunities.